Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Please do
introduce
not.
yourself. Hello, everyone. We are in Istanbul. We're broadcasting live at 2 p.m. in the afternoon in Istanbul at the Chamber of Architects. We're first group. They will introduce them by themselves. They're professors from University of Zagreb, Faculty of Architecture, Mira Serena and Larissa Sisic. So, please introduce yourself, and you're alive with your own kind of architect, right?
Hello, everyone. Like was said, we are the Croatian group. We were guided by Mia as well as assistant Larissa. My name is Sarah, and I'm from the University of Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Maybe you'd like to also introduce yourselves.
Gonçalo of the University of Wisconsin.
My name is Dora. I'm from architecture faculty in Zagreb.
Shema Angelska from Tom University of Business and Technology.
Yes. Well, we are gathered here because we want to show our ideas about architectural education, and they resulted in this website. I'd like to ask you not to view this website on your mobile phone because it's completely different and not yet complete. Well, of course, we're all here because we agree architectural education should be changed. And that's also because there are many changes in architecture and technology and their context. So architectural education should always be is always in need of discussion and improvement. And the current education system, most architectural education systems, have quite strict curricula that are quite standard. And this is kind of producing standard architects that are educated the exact same way, and we call this, can you go down maybe? Thank you. We call this the one kind of architect, as you can see in the end of the table. So, but the profession is changing, and the professional field expects architects to be flexible and unique, and this the education is not really linked with this, I would say. So there's sort of one formula, but what we want to do is we want to make education flexible and personalized and up to date with current architectural challenges. So what you kind of see here is the comparison between current education and what we want to propose. I guess you can go for it. So this proposal is going to be translated into more concrete ideas. That's enough, thank you. We wrote a manifesto for the school, but before we could do this, we had to think about who is the graduated architect that's going to graduate from the school. And for also to write this manifesto for the school, we had to think about focus points. And later we are going to show you how this translates into a physical environment. So, the graduated architect according to us. It's an architect who is one of their own. Maybe you can scroll over that. Doesn't it show when you scroll over?
No,
this one? It's an architect who is self-motivated and learns by doing, has cooperation and communication skills, and can work with people from different disciplines. The architect has a sense of community with other designers and is used to adapting to change. Architect, of course, is skeptical and questions everything, but is also aware of social matters and ethical problems. And of course, the architect should be user-friendly and not impose their ideas onto the user of the product. And of course, the architect should be aware of the uncertainties in their field and profession. Which leads us to the focus points. The architect should, the students should be taught they should learn uncertainty, but this has two phases. So the first one is they should learn about uncertainty in the field of architecture. So that they should, from the get-go, from the first year, students should learn that architecture is always changing, and as an architect, you're always learning and having to adapt to the new context. That's one side of it, but the other side is that you also have that designing itself is also very uncertain because there's never one solution. And students from the first year should be taught, and really it should be really stressed that it's okay not to know the answer, or it's okay to have doubts between two design solutions or whatever. The architecture is uncertain. That's what students learn. Next, direct experience. So students should be able to theorize what they learn in the fieldwork, but also should be able to apply theory to the field. And this is an interwoven process that we think the curriculum should really stress. Studio culture. And this is also, again, has two sides. The first one is that you need to be able, that you have to learn by doing. And you can do this in a studio, which later you can see our curriculum is formed on the basis of this idea, that you learn things, you are taught your skills, you're taught your theory, and you're taught the field work affects the studio. The second thing is that studio culture it helps you connect with your peers and get feedback from them, give feedback, show them your work, and it's much more, how do you say it? It's a lower, it's more accessible having to get feedback from your peers other than teachers sometimes. And this can develop a great sense of community. Concrete knowledge. Current architectural education sort of divides theory, experience, and application. And again, what we're trying to do is you have to learn by doing. And this is by attending, for instance, workshops or doing an internship. Okay. Lastly, is we believe that developing a community within the university greatly helps the students to be more motivated and comfortable in their environments and enjoy their study.
So in order to achieve our ideal kind of graduate architect, and in order to achieve our focus points, we decided to write a manifesto over the school. So first of it is, this is a school where you learn by doing with studio as a base. So whenever you learn skills, theoretical knowledge and experience from informal activities, they can at some point into the studio project connect. In order to achieve that, we also had to structure a series of 3 phases. First one is obviously the introduction process. It is the basic design studio. At this point, you know all the basic principles of the design and applying some of the things what you learn in actual practice. Second phase is it starts from the 2nd year to the 4th year of education, and this is we call the studios basically. And these are at this point what you learn from different, as you can see on the table over there. With your new skills and your theory also has to connect and you can use them more and more through your studio-based studio work. And the last phase and the 5th year is diploma studio, and it will take the whole year. And for this diploma studio, at that point, your lectures and your skill developments and all of your informal activities has to connect and support your diploma project. And this is a school that will help you find your way in architecture. This is not a school that forces you for one direction. The students are free to choose their own projects for this concept. Students are not forced to adjust, not forced to do one kind of project like every student. So a student will slowly start to find what they want in their architectural life, and they will be able to tackle a problem in their desired way and according to their interests. This is a school that quickly catches on to change. This is also, these all manifestos also happens in our focus points, that this school is technologically and for the architecture community and technological community that can catches all these new revolutions of of all trends. And they can adapt, also students can be also adaptable and flexible accordingly. This is a school that helps students develop community. As we all know, architecture is a community, it's a department that needs to be communicative. We need to have a sense of community in this process. So the school must organize and facilitate informal activities to bring students closer together. This is a school that stimulates multidisciplinary work, and we believe that the architect needs to be able to communicate with other disciplines as well, not just architects, urbanists, building physicists, structural designers, and real estate specialists and developers, etc. So in order to achieve that, we are structuring a type of studio that is multidisciplinary, and they can all work together and know how to work together, and they will know that they are not the only one who's participating over a project in real life. A school that is skeptical and aware of the social matters and also user-friendly. This is for what our students to be like. What we're shaping our students to be. So the school needs to be questioning everything and understand social dynamics and also ethical and social problems they need to be sensitive about. This is a school where you can live close to, as we all know that students should be able to live closer to the school in order to achieve more productivity. A school that offers consulting to all students. This is, we believe that is really important. And students can talk to a counselor and get to know them personally and guide them, and the person that can guide them through their education and give them advice as needed. And also, this is a school that is interwoven into city life and other schools. So we believe that the school should take place in closer to the city. So learn directly from the students could learn directly from the environment, and they would be aware of the local design. And also, besides that, people living in the city can also be involved in what they are doing in their architectural school.
So for the curriculum, so we decided that our school is divided into 3 phases. The first phase is the first year, and the main thing is the basic design. So on the basic design, you have the main studio. So you have all of these formal lectures, skill development, that you have little assignments that you learn on the basic studio. So little workshops. On the second to the fourth year, there is the main studio. So on the first year, you should learn what you could do in a way, and then to the second to the fourth year, you already know what you want to be in a way. So you choose what kind of studios you want to attend. So on those studios are more complex. You are expected to already have some skills developed. Or also some things you learn from the lectures or from informal things. But on the diploma studio, which is on the 5th year, you are expected to already know the maximum that the faculty can teach you. And then you are just guided by your mentor to make the best project that you can do. So, and it's also expected that you already did an internship before going to the diploma studio. It is important that we kind of create our ideal physical environment. For our ideal physical environment, it was very important to choose the locations. For the ideal location, we thought it would be a campus inside of the city. So in a way, the city learns from us and we learn from the city. It should be conducted with a lot of different buildings, people from the different faculties, or everybody connected in the same environment, people learning from each other and learning from the city. But building, for example, as we talked about the studios, we wanted studios to be in the most flexible open space it could be. So the studios should be in a big, we call them studios on floors, so they're not in rooms, it's on the floor with everybody doing the same thing. And it kind of, it creates, with furniture, you can create a different kind of environment, like maybe a little bit intimate and maybe more private and maybe a little bit more open. So we talked about like having double floors that are you can be surrounded by other disciplines. You have atrium with stairs. You can mix students with other students. You can have open and transparent capsule system where you mix students with teachers. We want everybody to mix. So on studio floors, the idea is that you have a vertical and horizontal visual communication. So if you choose one floor for one department, then we didn't want our professors to group and keep in groups just one apartment. The idea was connect them, even though they are in different kind of department. And also the studio is like place for itself where all of these departments kind of mix. So you learn from all of the apartments that are in the building. And the idea was that you, in the end, gather all your knowledge, the maximum knowledge you can get, not just from the formal lectures or studios, but from all of these informal things that you could do outside of faculty, and then go with the maximum knowledge to the world. And then you can learn examples. So we have examples of working in architecture. You could be landscape architect, restoration architect, interior designer, real estate developer, activist. You can work in neighborhood field, so it doesn't have to completely be an architecture. You can be an artist, you can be interior designer, you can work in a game or animation designer, you can do a 3D visualization, you can be a graphic designer, or you can work outside of the field of practice. You could be any kind of consultant, you can be a teacher, a writer, a politician, a photographer, a philanthropist, anything you want to be. That's all.
We're going to share the link for our website. Please feel free to comment on at the end of our website. Please go there. Yeah, please feel free to share your comments. Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe also please share the link.
Yeah, it's really small. I don't know how to.
We really want to share a link for your cell phone because it's not working not very well on your cell phone. But
And I will have a
Okay. Yeah, we should have done this.
Yeah.
We didn't have time to practice.
yeah, I got to return.
Just scroll throughout everything.
Oh, go and
Just show.
I didn't know this room started. Oh, wait. So, okay, I would like to thank you for being part of our group. I'm really happy with what you did, and I enjoyed working with you. And here are your certificates. So, congrats. Sarah? Yes, thank you. Yes. Seconds. Here we go.
Thank you.
Alright. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
No, you
Really? And give an applause for yourself. So, we're also
presentation.
Hello everyone, once again, me. Now we are having our second group presentation. The group is run by I will omit the word teacher, professor, tutor, whatever. We were there over the 10 days, let's say. Nur, me, Aslı, Cem, Günsu, Zelal, and Burak. And our students, they will introduce themselves. Yes.
Hello everyone, we are the team Backyard. We will explain it to you later. First, I want to introduce my friends, Remina, Patricia, Tim, Suki, Nergis, and Dora here right now, and Bilge, and my other friends are Gülşahlar, Işıl, Sipahioğlu, Aslı Alanlı, Gülsüm Erin Abbas, Cem Ataman, Burak Dönmez, and Zelal Öztürk. So, we are starting.
After so many days discussion about school and our school systems, we came to a conclusion that students were not satisfied with their working or studying environment. When students, especially of our group, were asked on explaining their experiences or their schools, these are some of the words that they used. For example, grades, evaluation, leadership, deadlines, and stuff. So we came with the idea of changing the school system into something new.
So the idea of a backyard came, and it would be a territory connected to the back of an institution, providing meaningful interactions between interested participants. And it would spark skills and knowledge sharing and spark new valuable experiences. So the backyard is a frame for further development and exchange of ideas, skills, and experiences. Something that will be accessible to anyone, anywhere, and anyone can participate in it in an impactful and valuable way.
So this is how we explain our platform or our new experiment, school experiment. Our work of our group was to explain their dream school or their dream working environment. So this is the word they use. Enhancement, autonomous, evolution, values, interdisciplinary, new learning and teaching, and others.
In the beginning of our work, we use another words like not leader in theater and not institution, foundation. Tutors, experts, like more experienced ones, and not system, organization, not class, we have sessions instead of this. Not students, we all participate in some part of the project, and not school, it's a platform that we are going to participate inside of it, and not education, it's both learning and training in each way.
So this way we would connect various kinds of people, and they would engage in multi-generational and multidisciplinary practices. So they would be multi-generational and multidisciplinary participants. They can bring together all the new knowledge. It can be amateur knowledge or academic knowledge, professional or personal knowledge, and they can focus on the processes as much as on the outcomes. So it would be a plane of innocence and experience.
So by our plugin system, we proposed a platform which will allow students to listen to society, work on society's problems, and form a multidisciplinary community which will make the process more than architectural education. We are like manifesting a flexible problem should be respond to a generating alternative methodologies to create like a new type of production of education. In our idea, we thought that there should be more possibilities to change this environment. The accomplishment of this work evidences the need for a greater dialogue between professionals and students during an elaboration of projects. Making the space more adjusted to the educational requirements. The role of the architect is in the learning process should be provide the physical conditions necessary for this new type of system.
So the platform we're talking about, we want to make it accessible to everybody, so to the general public. So we developed a prototype of an app that would be the platform and the catalysator where people could exchange these ideas. When you open the app, you can sign up and say something about your name. About yourself. So here's Patricia. She's from Portugal, right now in Istanbul, has 22 years of experience because we believe that experience is not just acquired during the educational process, but during the whole life. And so the motivation was not to come to Istanbul, it was Suzuki's motivation. But Patricia wanted to experience new things and share new experiences here. So after she signs up and becomes a part of the platform, she can see this, so this is like the menu. So we wanted to make things happen. We wanted to like have conversations that would be theoretical talks about things that are we want to change or we want to learn about or something else, and active sessions that is a physical representation of that, or that we can work on it directly with our hands and build stuff. So in conversations, you can see the list of conversations, and you can pin a new one. So this is like a conversation. Topic is air pollution. location is Beijing, China. And so when you pin a new topic, you can add documents. People that are interested in a conversation, they can say they're participating, and also they can talk to each other, arrange a date where they will meet, and build a time frame in which they will execute the conversation. So there are is a tool to do those things. Also, when you pin a conversation, when it goes live, so when you can, when it's going to be executed, you can see where it is on the map. So if you're strolling around town and you're in a new town, you can see on the map where is the the nearest conversation going on. So you can join in, and maybe by your experience and your knowledge, you can help that conversation. So it varies on the location too. And so you can pin a conversation, and that's how you start a new conversation. Active sessions are similar to conversations, so the framework is the same, but it's connected to things we want to do physically. So it's spiritual work, but maybe one-time conversation becomes an active session. So they can be linked, or they don't need to be linked. Depends on the things we're interested in, the problem we want to represent. And also we can see where the current active sessions are going in the town. And also you can pin a new one. So if you're from around the world, you can have various active sessions. So the participants have their own pages, and as we said, we're not talking about conventional names, but we rather have them as participants. And if it's a plugin way, then it's assessors, and people that are initiating, those are the leaders. And now Sugi can tell us something about the webpage. Let's go. So I'm gonna turn it off. Where is internet?
Yes.
So this is our website. It pretty much acts the same way as the app. So when you go into the website and you see this homepage, you can scroll down and you can read about our mission and what our plan is about changing the way of education by this platform that we created. And then you can also just simple click, you can become a participant. So on the left side is the participant, where you can register as a participant on the platform. But on the right, in order for us to kind of plug into the school, we created this accessor registration. So this is for like a faculty professor who is grading you or evaluating you. They can evaluate the oh, sorry. Yeah, so where was it? The assessor is the professor that the student is working with, and the professor can evaluate the student who is working on this platform to get them maybe ACTS. Sorry, I'm from Canada. ECTS credits to connect the platform with the current system. So we're looking at a great addition. And then once you scroll down more on the homepage, you can see the current available Conver or active sessions that are available. So after you register as a participant, you can register for these Conver sessions or Conver active sessions. So, and then you can join and then participate in the discussion to help with the project. And then once you go down in further, you cannot, if you have a problem in your own location, because it's location based on where you are, but you can still join at any place in the world. You can also add your own pin to to begin a active session or a conversation. And then so there's also the archive. So you can, because you don't know what the previous projects were, you can click on the archive and see all the previous projects or conversations. So you can start learning about what have been going on so far in the discussion. And then this is the website. So please link. And then there's the Instagram page, which Patricia's going to talk about.
So, since our main focus is to get some experience, we, in our page of Instagram, we show like all the process that we went through. So our first thoughts about this theme of education, and we think that it's important for us to show this whole process by reinforcing this idea that we can create conversations anywhere, like even now. So I think it's important to show. And you can see all the things like our photos and all the work that we've been doing, like the drawings, that's cute. And
so our username is backyard.backyard.
yeah.
Our username is backyard.backyard, so you can go there and you will find the link for the website and everything else. So please go there and search.
And I left in some seats like a air code, so you can. You can use it.
So, also, if you want to see the app like in person, you can go to our story, and it will be like a screenshot of the app, so you can see how the prototype works.
And lastly, we have an app. Okay, we have site, but we want to tell you about more about our project by just make you part of this project. Actually, we created like a little board game for you. You want to, if you want to see it, like you cannot see it right now, but it's about there's a world map and there are pins that you can be the pin of it. There are some cards that if you want to choose who you want to be, or you can write down on the card who you want to be, where you're from. So you can take a pin, then you will put where you're from. Then after that, you will take like the conversation. Actually, I want to show you. These are the parts of conversations and active sessions. So if you want to be a part of some active session in India, you will take this, and then you will take a pin. Then you will put the pin of where India is, and then you want to be, I don't know, you are some guy from Canada, and you will take this pin, human pins, then put it to the map where Canada is, and then you will connect with our colorful ropes, and it will be so many ropes. So we would like you to join us to play with it.
Any questions?
Give an applause for yourself.
In the name of our group, I'm very honored to present you the certificate of attendance, Patricia. Thank you. So cool. I managed to say it, you know, in a way. Sweetie. Cookie. Thank you. Tin. Thank you. Grenina. Thank you. Ige. And I will present for Nargis and for Dora, I will give to their professors. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And you also, thank you very much. This works.
Okay. So, who is the third? I mean, who's presenting? Okay, so can you also like... Hello once again. Now the third group is guided by Universidade Lusofona by Bernardo Vaz Pinto. Now they will present themselves. Please introduce yourself here. I don't know. You know who's saying in Turkish? 80 million is watching you. I don't know.
Hello everyone. We are as a group. I'm going to introduce myself and all the group. My name is Esin. I'm from Turkey, Mimar Sinan Pankart University. There is Martin, who is from Eindhoven. These two guys are from Croatia, Tamara and Marko, and also I'm from Top University. So we're going to start our presentation now.
Then, to begin with, our concept is like you're seeing keywords right now. It's constantly changing. It's like the foundation of the structure of the education. So we move to the first concept, which is the diversity. This is at the start we begin with the idea that the interests and the capabilities of the students differ from each other. So that the initial idea is our new school has to create an environment that encourages students and also allow students to work and study in different areas, in different disciplines.
So as inclusiveness, we, the students, have different point of views, as he said, diverse point of views, and we want to make it somehow involved in the school, because if the school has some sort of a personality in the beginning, we get to start to be left out of the system and be not served but limited by them. So I feel the school must be all around the student and let them choose their own path and out of that. So that includes the diversity into the education curriculum.
Well, the dictionary definition of flexibility is the ability to be easily modified. So we began with that idea and apply it to our new school education. Our system will be flexible, and the students themselves can modify their own paths in the different disciplines. We allow them to choose what to study and to work on according to their interests. So that is basically our flexibility idea. Where it is coming from.
Another important aspect of the another important aspect is the interdisciplinarity of the of this new school, and it's interdisciplinarity really is the glue between school and professional world. It's also connecting all the other aspects together.
And now we are showing you the old schooling system. As you can see, it is linear. It is conceived to be linear, and it suggests the start, the end, and the path we have to take in order to graduate. And we feel that all these things, such as internships, workshops, hobbies, personal interests, are left out from this current system.
So we included all these parts in our new school curriculum. It's not anymore linear. Now it's around and goes in every direction. So first we have fundamentals. That is a program that is learning in which we are learning the basics of everything, and then we have the palette of the choice that each student can take back in. So each student is choosing different ways to go out to school, and as well we can always come back into school to the projects and the parts we.
So we created a system which kind of is more free now, which allows us to choose our own path, but how to evaluate now. So the idea to make a model about this. So in this model, you see this table that we're using is just the fundamentals. And on top of it, we add the columns as our courses we take throughout the whole time. And in the old education system, there's only one system that we could be evaluated in. So the roughing that we mostly try to emphasize a bit was either falling or getting carried by the columns. So we wanted something that is more organic and more molded by the path itself. And this time we do not have to graduate as an architect all the time. We can have titles. If you want to be an architect, we have to take one in each from everything. But if you have a specialized education, then we can have a title for that. So after we created the whole curriculum and other things, we wanted an architectural approach to this project. So we sketched a little bit about the architecture of it as a plan, and created different discipline spaces in between, and we created how there's translation between all of these.
So we have transferred our plan from the curriculum to the architecture part. We just combined all the pieces of ASA and all the different points of view we have into architecture. So we created an architecture school that is building up all the time, and where each student can build it in a different way or in different order. So first we go through fundamentals. It's actually basic space, blank space, because when we enter the school, we don't know anything. So from the point of fundamentals, we take a look in each part and take a little piece of everything, and then we have basic knowledge. We can step up and go further into the. So the space for the fundamentals is also a very basic space. It's a high and bright space with the floating division, which you can go around and take something from everything and then go up to the architecture.
So the next step, we wanted to enable the students to bring their own projects to the school, their own projects and their own self into the picture, which ended up with a picture of this bazaar as a space full of different ideas, different personalities, which end up in a space that is personalized. As you can see, the space is open for all the projects, side jobs, internships, and hobbies to enter inside. The space inside is conceived to be some flexible space which students can arrange how they like. And in the middle, square-like space for somehow for informal gathering and idea exchanging.
Well, another important part of the program is the architectural history and theory. Well, on the left you see a painting of Picasso that more or less represents what we think about architectural theory and history. Because if you look at the painting, you really are wondering, who is this? Is it a woman? Is it a man? Where is it looking at? Where does this go? And what does it really mean? And well, it's more or less a metaphor for the architectural theory, because there are so many directions you can go in. There's so many phases and so many disciplines, and well, this makes it very versatile. If you look at the picture on the right, it really represents the words and history behind this. Well, in the spatial representation, you see a very vertical building, and it really the layers represent the different the history of us actually, and you can see it building up, and in the end, there is no roof, because actually architectural theory and history is mostly about the future and how it can go further, and it's an endless process which goes on and on.
As we come to the conceptual design, we learn things like make us much more down to the earth sort of things. We get the idea, we get the practice, we get all of the things, but we have to now make it explode, expand, and just find its new, really out-of-the-box form. So I kind of think of this as an white egg, like you can mix and stir, and it just gets foamy and bigger. So in conceptual design, you learn something that doesn't have so much roots, but they're somehow connected to each other. So you collect those elements and you create your own. You find yourself some sort of inspiration, elements and materials to your own designs. So here's the sketch part of the conceptual design of this space. And there's a model.
Can I move on? Okay, the fifth, let's say, the module of our school is the design build labs, which we were discussing at the beginning of the workshop. What is the actual and the ultimate goal of an architect? So some of us says there were lots of ideas, but at some point the architect's goal should be building something, and this module is to teach the students how to build, physically build, let's say a building. Different areas in it, such as you can learn materials, you can learn detail drawing, you can learn physical modeling, you can use the contemporary technologies such as 3D printers and CNC, laser cutting. You can learn all of that in that building lab. And also, we suggest that this building lab also is about voluntary work, which can relate to the current society, and extrude neighborhood also is included in the lab. So we designed the lab which has its own fabrication lab, on computer labs, and also the assembly places, which the product is the assembly is also can be presented to the public, to the neighborhood, which can be something that is useful to the society. So we move on to the final module of our school.
And that's the interdisciplinary work. Well, we really see the interdisciplinary module as really the glue between all the different modules and programs in our school. And you can see that in this slide. You can all see the different people who work in the built environment, the students, the construction managers, the retailers, the architects, urban designers, it's all in there. And they are connected in the net. You can see them in the back, and they're really, well, tied together actually. On a more or less spatial impression, you can see that the modules are like the big blocks on the side. The interdisciplinary part is a really complex and diverse network that connects all different spaces. And you can also see that some routes are very easy and more natural and logic, but there are also more harder ways to get to these different connections, and the part that brings the different disciplines together to the different modules.
And to conclude, this is a school which provides general knowledge, but at the same time can also be very specialized. The school whose purpose is not only learning, but also to start a career, and also a place of lifelong education where one can always return. So it's not linear, it's circular. That's all.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Okay, so I will give very proudly your requirements, your completely requirements, as I said here. So, Martin, I will introduce you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Oh, man. Congratulations, Tamara. Congrats also. Marco. Congratulations. Tekin. And Mustafa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your valuable contribution.
Hello, everyone. Once again, this is our fourth group, led by University of Eindhoven, by Tom Weger. And now they will present themselves. Don't forget. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
She's watching online.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why? What's happening? What's happening?
We're testing the sound. Okay, yeah. We're gonna let it at the same time. Maybe she knows.
Ya ses, yani video var da sesin duyulması lazım.
Mikrofonu kapatıcı yaklaş.
Denedik şu YouTube'da videoda denedik ama sesi. Yani mikrofon hoparlörü sorun.
Çalmaya başladı.
This way.
At the moment, the structure.
Okay, I'm gonna start. Hi everyone, this is I am Özge from University of Economics and Technology, and she's Maya from Zagreb and Ivan from Zagreb again. We start with 6 students, but we end up with 3. But we have a small but I think strong video for the school.
Can you move it?
So,
Not that. Can you just put it on?
gonna make it wait.
So we try to stay consistent in our ideas about the new structure of the school. That's why we are presenting this different way. So I hope you will enjoy it.
Should show it our computer.
Do you have the video offline?
Yes.
But this program is not working on this.
Maybe
It
should be
working. You see it?
Filmmaking is not part of our curriculum system.
Maybe I can try from my computer. You don't have a Windows Media Player? Yeah, now again something.
Can you try it?
Yeah, can I try it from my computer?
Yes.
But I don't have.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with the program, it has to do with lab. So probably you can know this, and you can put it
But I
on.
don't have this one.
But this, their laptop, and put on their laptop. This is their laptop. No, we will put it on your laptop. Because their laptop has this. Maybe ours just for,
No, of course it's going to
Okay,
It's working on my computer.
You take your computer. What do you need?
This one is not working on my
Okay, 5 minutes break. Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it's hard. It's already on level, and level can certain. Such as points is
It's more about the amount of
okay. I will share. I don't have that.
Yes, I have documents.
If not, then how do you make it? Maybe not. Normally it's that.
Okay.
I can help.
And basically, I have your phone numbers. Yes. And also, I have your phone numbers.
And give it a try.
It's a new laptop? New laptop. Password.
Хочешь пробовать?
Njoj tamo, ona ima. Check out here.
How did you save this? Because when we were doing the check, we saved it through the different exports than you did. So maybe you can just change the way you are exporting it. If you are doing it with
Maya, we have your computer here. Can you? This is for.
Definitely looks like go back.
It's very close, just 5 minutes of walking. Yeah. It's not possible. This is practically on the store. Yeah.
Have you disconnected this one? This one is disconnected.
How? Okay.
You want to do
Which one is that?
It's got the check my meters. It's working.
Yes.
No, it's working. Okay, full screen. No, go.
It's working.
All right.
It's working. It's okay.
Wait, you have sound as well.
Microphone.
I think this
No, I just want to make sure. No. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Can we try the sound?
We have some.
I don't think we have sound. Can you hear? There's no sound.
Can you switch off the sound? We need to right click on the sound and switch off the source. You need to switch the source.
So are we starting? Yep.
All right.
Okay. And can we start?
Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience, technical problems, they're usual. Okay, enjoy. Okay.
Can make full screen.
Okay, shall we go? People there?
Thank you everyone for the patience.
Okay, louder.
But there is no sound here. Okay, we will speak about it later.
No.
Okay.
Okay, this was a story about Donald. He decided to study architecture, and for the bachelor, he would get enough basic and comprehensive knowledge. This stuff. And so this was a story about Donald, and he decided to study architecture, and the comprehensive. So we have it all now.
Like this one.
Yeah.
Or you can use this other one.
So you can see what I'm saying. Okay, you can go. Can you go back? Go back. I haven't spent so Okay, this is the story about.
Here is work. Here is working.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Put the mic next to the speaker.
Ah, yes. Maybe we can go.
Started to study no, that's a after bachelor, you don't get on to start working in the architectural field. But don't just start to build so one day. Okay, this was a story about Donald. He decided to study architecture, where he would get basic but comprehensive knowledge, where enough would be to start his own architecture field. And then after bachelor, he will be able to apply for MA studies or go to the architecture field. But Donald is an ambitious student, as most of us, and he decided to continue to study the master on the same faculty. But in this case, this master is different because it gives him more opportunity to dream about one day building in New York huge skyscrapers, but at the same time, he can become a politician, one day a president. In this system, this offers him to achieve that goal. Master, we predicted it like education is a city where the main thing is the grid. The grid is city. In this case, is the education, the street, the road that leads you at on some path. But at the same time, we have opportunity and freedom to pick all the different doorsteps, which are important because those different things, doorsteps, those are not the basic knowledge that we can get in the school, but something more, something like a life experience. And that's what we find really important in this new system.
So in the final stage, for actually something that was very common for all the projects, all the discussions that we made, that other fields needs to support our education. We didn't see them as a support, but as a fundamental thing of creating our architect's minds. So in the small graphical way, we show that there is no limit between other fields. There is no border between other fields and architecture. So it's shaped inside. Thesis 1 and 2, we see it as under the same topic that the school proposed. Like a framework, we are implying other knowledges, architectural, non-architectural, with the other skills, to make the thesis right. Yeah. That's probably.
And now education is more than graduation we propose. If you look at the city, it was before architecture school, leisure center, publishing house, museum, art center, and different kinds of programs. But at the end, we believe that the city is a field for students to learn. So when you are studying, you can go to the museum for working, and then you go there and learn, have your internship there, and come back to school, rewarded at school because you are going to the museum. Maybe you are studying in the theater for the lights, and then you are collecting that knowledge in the studio.
The main goal is that schools, they don't need to create the same persons like A equal A, but the outcome, the graduates should be different and they should think critical in their own way. So that was one goal, was to achieve. Another thing was to break that myth about education. So the architectural system doesn't need to be only 5 years. We really need, it's enough to have 3 years, and we are already, we know everything about those basics in architecture, and that's enough to start working as a draftsman. So that's why we left this part bachelor, but we changed in MA in this kind of way. So more freedom. So we have 2 theses and some additional courses which student needs to seriously, not like nowadays, just papers, but also to concentrate on it, because we believe that kind of knowledge that they're going to receive, it will form them as a whole package, like we saw those gifts from Rem Koolhaas, Peter Zumthor, Tadao Ando, all of them, they had like a different experience before, and that was something that made them a good architect today, because they haven't been living in those frames that our system provides us at the moment, but they came from another frames, another experience, and that's why they are doing something different. They are not the same. What I mentioned before, nowadays the school system creates students A equal A. What we want to create is the final product of the student should be A unequal A B. So, so we need to improvise.
At this time, we would like to say that I think it's even better that our work out. So yeah, please support us with other fields. Thank you. Thank you.
Such a pity you couldn't see, but we will put it on YouTube for Vimeo. It's really nice. It's really nice, and it's such a pity that technical stuff destroy this kind of thing. But it's a lifelong learning process. So anyhow, did a hell of a job. Congratulations. Maya.
Thank you so much.
Anyhow, these things happen. Now you destroy the whole system.
Please proceed here so that everyone, because they don't have the video.
So, yes, I think that's very much. Great.
Thank you for your valuable contributions and your work.
Thank you. Any thought? Any thought?
So we are not finished yet. So where is the fifth group? They're here. Okay.
Somebody has to
We all hold it. Okay. Okay, you can connect now. Give it a try. See first. Do you need an internet connection anyway? Hello everyone, this is the fifth and the last group, guided by Mimar Sinan Fine Arts University. Please start with introducing yourself.
I'm Susa from Public Works.
You know the microphone.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Hi, I'm from University of Eindhoven.
I'm Elena from Dhaka.
I'm Oswald from Zofia.
I'm Aya from Erasmus.
Hi, good one. I don't mean my son finance.
I'm Dominic from Zofia.
So we want to start our presentation. So does anyone have any questions? What's your question?
I have a lot of questions. I want to know what you're doing. That's my question. I want to know what you're doing.
So what we're trying to show here right now is how things can be, first of all, more flexible. How this informal knowledge education should be shared between us. And with this thinking and with this thought in our minds, that way that we involve the work in the workshop. So we might have something slightly different, maybe, or maybe the same. At the end, please, we'd like to answer the questions.
Hi. Okay. I'd like to start with a slide presentation. So when we talk about the architecture school, actually it's like imagine if you were in a a high school student and then suddenly you apply for the architecture school and then you become an architecture student. Then actually you learn a lot of things, like a lot of new things. When you talk about architect, there are so many kind of architects. Like you can be an architectural designer, you can be an architectural historian, or you can be a technical specialist. It's like in the real world there are so many kind of architects, but actually the main problem of the education system is like the school keep producing only one kind of architect. So then we start to kind of break down the knowledge. So we split it up into two kinds of knowledge. One is about basic knowledge that actually every architect should be able to learn about it, to gain it in order to make sure that they can work in the real world. But other than the basic knowledge, there should be some specific knowledge that they have. It should be based on their own interests. So we split it up like maybe in the ideal school should be like in bachelor, we should have a kind of like half evaluation based on basic knowledge and specific knowledge. But during master, you should go a bit more specific. So there will be still have a basic knowledge evaluation, but the main focus is about specific knowledge. Just give you an example, like maybe the first part of architectural education, you should fulfill all the basic knowledge. Like let's say this is a standard, and then the school should be able to teach the student to reach this standard. Then after that, you should be free to choose what kind of advanced or specific knowledge that you want to go for. Let's say you want to be architectural designer, then you should be able to take a class that increase your knowledge about the design. Or you want to be technical person, then you should be free to choose in the kind of technical knowledge rather than just design knowledge, for example. And then we also split the way of learning into two types. Like it should be formal way, which is conservative way. Like we have this course in the classroom, we have a tutorial, we have a class lecture, we have a project assignment, and we think it should be balanced on the other side that should be informal knowledge as well. Like just like us, we come here for the workshop, and at the same time we get experience that we work together from the students from another school. We should have excursion. Let's say we have a class about history, then we should maybe talk about some heritage architecture. You should be able to go to the site and see it, rather than just look at the picture or Google it. So traveling, on-site learning, and sharing experience. Then I'd like to show you a video. So we have made a video about presenting formal knowledge. It will be short video.
2 hours. Short video of 2 hours.
So so I will go through it one by one. So two sides between formal and informal should be balanced in the school, that you get a basic knowledge and also you have informal knowledge that you have different experience, and maybe you can do among the students, they can also share together. So I start from the formal knowledge. It's actually we think in every subject, in every process in the architecture school, there should be more or less almost the same the process. Like we start with a topic, what are we going to learn, and then we start to set up the learning method, and then you are in the process of learning, and then you doing the production that you are working on the assignment, and then evaluation. And in some school they have a kind of self-assessment, like after you get a grade, then you have a chance to get like comment from the teacher, and you have also have a chance to comment to the course as well. But what we are trying to improve is about like interaction between student and teacher, which means in every you should have like kind of communication between student and teacher. Like the topic should be contributed by the student as well, like in what kind of topic they want to study, what kind of learning method they want to design, and then they have to share it to other students, and they have to propose it to the teacher rather than just teacher tell them what to do. And also the same as learning process in production. So they have to keep always share to another student. So among the students, they keep learning each other, and then the teacher have a duty only to review and give a comment like this is the right way to go or this is already a wrong way to go. And then also the evaluation, we are thinking about the flexibility that maybe because of during the learning process, we have a different, maybe each student we have a different kind of learning process, different field. What if they have a chance to also design their setup of evaluation and then they propose it to teacher? And then, yeah, so at the end of the semester, so they have a different way of grading. But of course, this kind of setup of evaluation, you have to propose to the teacher and get approved first. And also the self-assessment, so it's two ways, like also the teacher give comment to the student and student give comment to the, for the course and teacher. And this is about informal, and my colleague Antonio will talk about it.
So about informal part, I think that you should pay attention to the video. I don't need to talk much. But in this scheme, we try to show what this informal knowledge is and where that we can get it. So when you have all these, let's say, stations, they represent some of the ways that we acquire informal knowledge. One of the examples that I would like to share with you is, for instance, this workshop, because I believe that no group would put all the things that they have listened and learned in this small presentation, because I think that there was a lot. One of the things that I would also to say is that sometimes we don't have to agree, and that's something that should be also contemplated on the informal knowledge. So this is formal, maybe, and this maybe is more informal. I know that it depends a little bit on the age of each one of us here, but for us, the young generation, the new architects are coming, let's say, this is not formal, this is informal. Because we, in a way, we don't work with our hands anymore. So maybe we should start doing this, and at the same time, maybe teachers need to be more open to this kind of approaches. So here, basically, we have the board that you used to do the video, and as you can see, this kind of explains the cycle of this informal knowledge. For instance, you could start with this idea of the world as a classroom, because nowadays we need to experience different things. It's not the knowledge that we can acquire in the books, but also the knowledge that we can acquire in all other places. And well, biggest one right now is the world. So maybe we should start acquiring this worldwide knowledge through experiences, not through books or images. Then again, we could go around all the places by establishing small communities of students, for instance, that they can get together to do all this traveling, and they can share their experiences, and at the same time, the posts of the other students in their own countries. To make this idea work, we need funding because it's one of the main questions that nowadays students need to deal with. And so this funding could be personal, it could be something that is implemented on the universities, some kind of program. It could be some funding from the European Union, or even it could be crowdfunding. Why not? We are young, we need to be creative. And that's why, in this way, we also try to improve and develop this informal education, which is something that we as an architect also need. Because one of the main things that is really important in architecture is not be able to see. Because to see architecture is kind of easy. Turn on the computer, we put some images, and it's done. But that kind of experience is not possible by, for instance, to smell. Maybe if I want to know the smell of, I don't know, the eye museum in Amsterdam, I need to go there because otherwise I wouldn't have the experience. And even, for instance, to feel the space with our own body, to really understand the scale. And all of these questions that are so important to architecture. So in this kind of scheme, in this kind of education, we could also be improving not only the knowledge, but our competence as future architects.
So this is about the informal knowledge. Then back because of we still have to. I think it's also important that we have to still have take main classes in the school, but how to make it more flexible. So this is our main question. So we're focusing on the flexibility on the three main classes in the architectural school. So one is a studio and production project, and also how the student learn about presentation technique that could be applied to their studio and project, and also in their professional world. So we think the architectural school, the way of learning should be based on discussion rather than just like, if you can see the traditional way of the school, that the teacher just saying to student like, you should do this, you should do that, like the student just to follow what teacher say. In ideal way, it actually should be, rather than telling student that what you should do, it should be asking like, what do you think? Like, let's say you ask student in your studio like one by one. Let's say you have a small assignment and you put it on the table and you point to every student and ask like, what do you think, to comment on one's project. Then there will be a lot of discussion on the table, and then the interaction between student itself will be created. And this is a diagram that I showed in the video, and then I just made it a little bit more complex. So I do a class that, let's say you have a studio topic, and then before you start to do the design, you should have one session to make it kind of like set up of design process for student. That student have to set up their own process by themselves and share it to another student, and then propose it to the teacher rather than just teacher tell them what to do. And also the program that students should be free to set it up their own program rather than just like teacher come up with the tasks what to do, and then teacher will just review on it. Same as design, and also the way of production. Because I heard from the lecture that sometimes you have the problem that students have to have a drawing list from the teacher, and then they have to finish their work by the drawing list, which is, I think students should be able to design the drawing list by themselves. Like what kind of drawing in their project that is really necessary in their project, rather than just find innovation, section, vendors, but it should be something else. It should be flexible. And then again, you also propose it to the teacher, and also the way of evaluation, like in your project, you're focusing on the strong concept, or it will be more technical, and then you start to make a matrix or a table and propose it to teacher. Let's say this is my way to make a project. You should evaluate me that way, rather than just all the same standard to every student and go to the self-assessment after grading. And we found that actually the school system in top, we found that it's interesting that they call it a vertical system, that students from second, third, and fourth year, they have free to choose studio that actually, so in one studio they will have like students from the second year, third year, fourth year, because in one it is like student also learning for each other. Let's say the second year you can learn something from the fourth year, like which will improve the way of learning. And then the way of evaluation, they have also different standards. The first year should be able to reach this standard, while the fourth year has have maybe higher standard because they have more knowledge than the second year student, for instance. And also about the graduation project, there should be a difference between a bachelor and master. Because I think bachelor degree is about evaluation of basic knowledge. So the graduation project on the bachelor should be based on a student topic, but master it should be more free, so the student can propose their students should be free to propose their topic individually. And also the way of evaluation should be on bachelor should be 50% by group, 50% by individual. So by group, it should increase. Should bring the students to be improve their sense of collaboration. But if you're a master, I think it should be free to, you can come up as a group or individual. Then the evaluation, so as I said, so bachelor is just based on basic knowledge, and master should be based on specific knowledge. And so this is a process. So studio topic, bachelor is much more linear and straightforward. So just studio topic, group research, and how to group design. So the first half is group assignment, and then the second half is individual design. And then we have individual evaluation. But the masters, you are more free to, so you set up the topic, and then the topic from the student can be sorted by a studio, like let's say this studio focusing on the conceptual way, the other studios can focus on the technical way based on student topic. And then students should be free to choose the way to work as so you can choose to work as an individual or group work along the process. This could be flexible and become a design. So if you start with a group, you are able to work as a group design and then become individual design. But if you start with an individual design research, then you can go directly to individual design, and then the way of evaluation is actually also flexible. And then the way of learning technical presentation. So rather than just basic tutorials, so the teachers stand in front of the classroom. But actually, if we want to be good at technical presentation, like any other any computer skills, it should be tutorial plus self-practice, and you should apply it to your own project. So it's going to be 3 parts of the course. So one is about, let's say, professional tutorial, because it's a bit hard that architecture school can follow the changing of trend of architectural software. Actually, let's say like 10 years ago, there was no Rhino, and then some teacher don't know how to use Rhino, for example. But if we are able to kind of invite let's say the staff from the software company, and have a lecture. Let's say week 1 we have a lecture from Autodesk. Week 2 we have a lecture from Adobe. Then the student can have a wider knowledge to choose. And they have to do their own research, like they should make their own tutorial as a self-learning, and then they have a free choice of software learning, like they can choose what kind of software they want to learn, and then each student that's presented to the other students. So it's a process of learning to each other. But the role of the teacher is just to review and comment on their research and presentation, and then they present it to every student, and then their knowledge should be able to apply to their own assignment, to the studio project or graduation project or whatever. And that's it.
So there's 3 questions.
For their work, for this presentation. It's also a surprise for the students. Thank you very much for that. I want to thank you all for coming here, sharing this experience together, for your contribution.
Thank you very much for the hospitality.
Shall we start?
We still have time, so. Yes.
So anyone talks about these presentations? Maybe the tutors. Well, would you like to say something? For me, it was a great experience to have to work with my team. I heard different ideas, approaches, but I don't know about them. They work a lot. As I can say.
So please, students, choose your school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now you have the opportunity to choose your school and explain why. You follow. Or everybody sees to its own school, other than yours, okay? Other than yours. You shouldn't be too tired, I guess. No, you're not. Anyone? Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I really like the one, I think it was in the video with the path that you followed and with all the different, what was it? Buildings, I guess. I liked it because it seemed more flexible and it seemed like students are being aware of how much you can, what other things you can do as an architect besides the traditional idea that you first go into in your first year. I like how it's structured in a way that it's very open. I mean, other schools are, curricula are also quite flexible. Everybody's talking about that, but I felt like yours, it was represented the best. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. Well, I'll leave the students first. Because the challenge was addressed to the students. I'm a student too. I feel like I'm a student. So if I don't want to go talk about the students, if nobody wants to speak, I'd like to make a general comment. It's always nice, and I think very important that after the work, after an experience, we really have some time, not today, maybe not now, but to really go back and understand what we did, what you did, what we all did together, because it's the only time that we start to be a little bit objective about it, right? It's still too much on top of the situation. Still, we can understand that most of the groups, and of course, because based on the same topic, I could divide the exercise of the argument into very distinct parts. Most of all of us, most of the work fell into the first one, which is you would like to change the curriculum. You would like to change the school by changing the curriculum. Well, there's a big problem with that, is that we are architects, and sometimes we have no power to change the curriculum. But you showed, or at least maybe we should think about it, I am not a very academic person. I might become one, but I've never discussed curriculum that much. But maybe in this discussion, which I never thought about it, is that maybe we should be more strong about changing curriculum. Okay? Because you always complain about curriculum. Most of you, it's great. It's great. And especially flexibility is the word, right? You always complain that you're not flexible, that you don't have enough flexibility. So that's pretty much a good banner to wave. It's probably a problem. The second part is more difficult. How can we architects change the system? And how can we architects behave not as other people? Because there's a lot of administrative people, there's a lot of people that are not architects, and they do great curriculum, and they do great schools, but we are architects, all of you, trying to becoming, all already been, doesn't matter. So what's the difference? Because a lot of what we saw very interesting is work that could be done by very nice, beautiful, great, competent people that are not architects. Okay? So what can we architects specifically do that other people cannot do? You know, you go to a restaurant, you're not cooking. The guy's cooking. You can complain about cooking, but you're not going to the kitchen cooking. What can we architects do to change the school that you so much want to change? I'm not going to speak bad words as I did sometimes. So I'm not going to be very Robert. What can we do instead of asking other people to change curriculum? What do you think architecture should be? What is architecture? I think that the major question is, okay, you want more flexibility, you want more freedom. For what? What is your architecture? What is the idea of your architecture? What's your dream of architecture? What do you want to do? What do you want as an architect? I think it's a very important question. And then we scroll the curriculum, change the curriculum. We throw the teacher outside of the window. If I know what I do, I'll go for it. What do you want to do? Still, I didn't see the meat. So a lot of great ideas, but I'm hungry and I didn't eat a lot. I still feel that you haven't given me the food. I go to the restaurant, I smell everything, the ideas are great. You tell me that you put pepper and then you change and you mix vegetables, but then you don't give me the food. So what do you want?
There are no students, another student gives the class. Okay, I had an idea, just it was a very to the point of a very question. But mine is a different point to share with you. But I told see all the presentations. Actually, first of all, thank you so much for this very productive workshop and being with us all the way. I hope it will go further and for better ideas in education. Anyway, I got an idea. Maybe after seeing the presentation, maybe we can find a responsible person from each group, not the teachers, but I mean a lot of your students of the group, and we can just maybe make a summary of this presentation and we can publish it in the Journal of the Chamber of Architects of Istanbul, where we did actually this happening at this event. So maybe, of course, there will be a kind of editor of that, and we can make a kind of summary of this workshop, your ideas and in your presentations. Will be translated into Turkish, of course, it's in Turkish, but will be a summary in English anyway, showing our aim, our process, and our ideas which came through this workshop. This is important to transmit or to spread these ideas and to all the architects and students. So if we can organize, of course, not just in 2 weeks, but maybe in 4 or 5 months, we can, because I am the editor of this journal, that's why I'm talking about that, maybe in some other journals as well, but for this journal of the Chamber of Architects, we can make a kind of summary of this workshop and which ideas came on the agenda and to propose architectural education will be, I think, a good product of the workshop as well. But we need some maybe volunteers to summarize, make just the 2 pages summary of your ideas, of your presentation, some usual documents. We can work on that. I'm sure Sercan and Ece will also do the process. Thank you. Think about it. Another question.
Last
So, first of all, thank you so much. Actually, a big thanks go to our students who travel all the way to Istanbul. I hope
you enjoyed your stay here, and I know that there are many students who will enjoy more because they're staying. First of all, my thoughts about the project. We still can't get rid of the word of school. That's what makes me quite, I can't say, but why can't we get rid? Is there any other alternatives that we can share? Actually, for the idea of backyard, it has started with this aim. The main objective was to get rid of it. Before starting getting rid of the school, we released something with a plugin, in a way. But I think we should, for the future, because you know, the role of the architect that we've been speaking, it has started to change, shift, alternate. There's no architect probably in a way, but there's the issue of licensure, etc. So we need to prove to build. But what we need actually is to find a way different than school in terms of environment, curricula, whatever, because as part of the informal parts, the first question that was on our minds is that, is it possible to become an architect by traveling? Is it possible to become an architect if your parents are architects, or not just parents, but as a family? Or you were born in a community which has the aim of building, you know? Or they can be, you know, the slums, they're building homes. Let's say, I mean, a child born into that slum, they're building their home. I don't know, I mean, it would be more maybe productive to think outside the box in a way, getting rid of all the systems, etc. So, in a way, we won't be discussing anymore about formal, informal, whatever. That's the job, maybe a future job. That's all I want to say. I wanted the plugin group to be talking about their idea. Maybe they were excited, I guess. So, thank you. A big applause for everyone. For all. Lastly, I would like to thank all the organization group over there, so because they were behind all the organizations and taking care of us. So thank you. Any comments? No? Let's go. Awesome. Bye-bye, everyone. So finished diyor. Şimdi done diyeceğim, değil mi? Başka herhangi bir şey görüyor musun? Değil mi? Done.